Reporting live from the studio of TV8, Madots News.
Magandang umaga, bayan! Ako si Raquel Tuazon.
Ako si Raquel Tuazon.
At ito ang Madots News. Isang bagong bukas na museo ang dinagsa ng mga kabataan nitong umaga lamang. Ang balitang ito ay ihahatid sa inyo ni Lucario Jazz. Lucario?
Maraming salamat, Raquel. Raquel, narito pa rin tayo sa tapat ng museo na ito kasama ang ilang mga kabataan at si Ma'am City Masorong, ang pamunuan ng museo na ito. Ma'am, ano ba ang meron sa museo ito at bakit ito dinagsa ngayong umaga?
Magandang umaga din. Ang ating museo ay itinayo for educational, entertainment, and workshop purposes only. And sa loob ay may kita natin ang Philippine history ng media. So, obviously, ang ating workshop is for our aspiring journalists. And dinagsa siya this morning kasi our workshop is free. Pati entrance, everything inside the museum is totally free.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am City Masorong. Ngayon naman ay tatanungin natin ang ilang mga kabataan ito kung ano nga ba ang natutunan nila sa loob ng museo. Magandang umaga. Ano nga ba ang mga natutunan ninyo sa loob ng museo?
Actually, I learned that the Filipino alphabet, called Alibata or Baybayin, took place in 1301. And the Filipinos before, they used any materials like stone or clay just to write down any ideas they have. So the stone and the clay serve as their record. And also in 1811, the books, magazines, and newspaper were brought to the Philippines. And the Del Superior Governo was the very first newspaper established here in our country, but it is only for the Spaniards. And luckily, we have De La Solidaridad from 1889, and it was the very first Filipino newspaper sprouted during the colonial times. And it is also considered as the most popular and nationalistic newspaper. Ay, hello po. What I learned po from the museum is that the telegraph and telephone system started its operation po in the year of 1890. And the people really enjoyed it kasi mas napadali na yung communication. And also, I've already heard about the liwayway from our subjects before, but here at the museum, it was described as a notable magazine that has a serialized novels, short stories, news items, photos, lifestyle, entertainment features, and comic strip section. And it was started in the year of 1900. And today, Liwayways is still alive, but it is under the publication of Manila Bulletin. And actually, what I really love the most here in the museum is that the movie adaptation of Dalagang Bukid of 1919, and it was the most popular musical play po created by Hermogenes Ilagon. Actually, I'm not pretty sure of his name or her name. Yeah, but I can't wait to watch it because I have these questions like, is Dalagang Bukid a fish from that movie, or is it literally a girl?
Magkakasama ba kayong pumunta sa museo na ito?
Opo, actually magkakaklase po kami lahat.
Nag-enjoy ka ba at marami ka bang natutunan sa loob?
Opo, sobrang nag-enjoy ako at marami din akong natutunan sa loob ng museum. At tulad na lang ng taong 1922, yun yung taon na nagbukas o nag-operate ang radio station, at si Henry Herman, siya yung nag-operate ng maliit na radio station na ito para sa kanyang business na electrical supply company. Kumbaga, yun yung naging kanyang product demonstration. Hanggang sa in-upgrade niya yung kanyang business at ginamit niya yung letters na KZ, ayun, noong taong 1924. And naging patok din yung comics simula noong taong 1940, at na-influence ito simula nung dumating yung American comics. Na-influensya nito into an art form simula nung dumating yung American comics. And may mga kilala din na tao, may mga nakilala din mga tao dahil sa husay nila pagdating sa paggawa ng comics. Tulad na lang ni Tony Velasquez, ni Larry Alcala, at ni Mars Ravilo na father ng Philippine comics.
How about the film industry? Meron ba kayong mga natutunan tungkol dito?
Yes, but actually the primary purpose of the films in the Philippines before was to give an entertainment to the people. But when the Japanese colonial times began, it was changed. And they have the film Dawn of Freedom of 1944, and it highlighted the World War II. And in 1946, the television first came into picture when James Lillenborg established the Bolina Electronics Corporation. And in the year 1950s and onward, it is the golden age of the Philippine cinema, and the culture of the Filipino was presented on the big screen. After a years, I think it was 1953, when we're in the very first television broadcast, which is DZAQ TV Channel 3, was established by Josh Antonio Quirino.
Mukhang sulit na sulit ang pagdalo niya sa museo na ito. Ikaw naman.
Alam mo yung mga ko.
Ano ba ang natutunan mo sa loob ng museo na ito?
Nag-enjoy po ako sa pag-ikot sa loob ng museo. And marami din ako natutunan, like noong 1970, na-release or na-produce yung Jingle Song Hits. Yun yung smaller version ng magazine, wherein it talks about the Filipino being inclined to music. And since mahilig ako sa pagkanta, kaya nagkaroon ako ng interest sa part na yun. And also, noong 1972, it was the martial law of President Ferdinand Marcos who suppressed or stopped the press freedom. And the journalists before was forced into jail. And they are only allowed to write about pro-dictatorship and pro-government only. And noong 1990, doon na nag-start yung email communications, but mostly mga multinational companies pa lang yung gumagamit.
Maraming salamat. Ikaw, meron ka bang gustong i-share o ibahagi?
Ay, of course, syempre, I just also wanted to share my learnings po. And I'm really having a great day here in the museum. Actually, I learned that from the year 1990 up to 2000, that was the year wherein the production companies started, like the ABS-CBN and GMA. And in 1994, the Mosaic Communications or Moscom launched the first commercial internet service provider that allows the entire Filipino to go online. And on the same year, there's various academic institutions, private companies, and government agencies, or any institutions under the Philippine Network Foundation that has been launched, and it makes the Philippines become more connected to the world of the internet.
Salamat mga future journalists.
Thank you.
Muli ako si Locario Jazz, nag-uulat mula sa Maynila. Back to you, Raquel.
Maraming salamat, Locario Jazz.
Mukhang nag-enjoy ang mga future journalists sa museo na iyan, Jazz. Yes, Lorea, actually may mga non-Filipino din dito na nakipagdagsa at talaga namang nakipagsabayan sa kanila.
Okay, maraming salamat, Jazz. At yan ang mga ating ulat sa araw na ito. Muli ako si Lorea Kusha. Ako si Raquel Tuazon, nag-uulat mula sa TV8. At ito ang Madots News. Happy lunch, bayan! Susunod na po ang Rocks TV.
Whisper. Comfy Days with Whisper. Now with Dermacare Lotion to soothe the skin. 4 pesos only. Emperador, ang ating tagumpay. Ang sagot sa iyong sugat, uhaw at problemang di malunasan. Available na ulit kahit merong pandemya. 100 pesos lang sa iyong mga suking tindahan. Kaya bumili na ng Emperador.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I am Raquel Tuazon, and here we are again on our new segment on our noontime show, Rocks TV. So today guys, I invited Professor Elizabeth Enriquez to share with us her information about the Philippine section of the Broadcast Archive. So this segment will be entitled, This is the Philippine section of the Broadcast Archive. And let's all welcome Professor Elizabeth Reyes. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Raquel. Hello, ma'am. How was your day? Actually, I'm a bit nervous. Let's just normalize that one. Well, anyway, guys, our segment today contains 3 major divisions, which is the history, regulation, and station identification. So, ma'am, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, ma'am, can you tell us something about the history of the Philippine broadcasting?
Okay, the test broadcasting began in 1992 from Nichols Airfield, and that was done by Mrs. Redgrave. She was an American citizen, and after Mrs. Redgrave, here comes Henry Herman, who began test broadcasting from 3 stations on the same year.
So it means broadcasting before was not meant for spreading news?
Yes, exactly, because the first test was done from Nichols Airfield. So, it was not intended for spreading news. Second thing is Herman was a businessman, and he was just testing business potential for broadcasting. And actually, Herman was the owner of the Manila-based electric supply company. And it was also stated before that Herman was experimenting the operation of radio stations, and actually has no permission on doing that.
What happened po after doing that? Did someone file him a case?
Actually, there's no filing a case happened before. And but you know, Herman was a very smart person, because to make it legal, to make his business legal, he replaced the experimental stations with a 100-watt station, because the first test broadcasting that he have done was just a 5-watt, but he replaced it into a 100, and he also uses the letters KZ to call it. But after a year, he gave up on the commercial potential of radio, and what he do is he sold it to the RCP, or Radio Corporation of the Philippines. And in the year 1929, Lent still traced the appearance of the first radio station when the RCP put up the KZRC. I'm sorry. The KZRC is a 1 kilowatt experimental station in Cebu City.
So after that, is the broadcasting still working?
Yes, actually, the program before the broadcasting was a pattern to American broadcasting,
And it is also have a sponsors, but sponsors before did not directly advertise their product. And I just wanted to share about Coco. Before, the broadcasters, teachers, and students regarded Francisco Coco Trinidad as the father of the Philippine broadcasting. And that's all for the history. Actually, we're still looking for more information about the Philippine broadcast history. And if any one of you has an information about it, feel free to contact me. Yeah.
Yeah, actually guys, Ma'am Elizabeth has a lot of documentation about this. But then we all know that researching something could take a very long time. So if you have any information or if you have any ideas about it, you can share it with her or with me. And okay, so the next topic that we have to discuss is about the regulation. So ma'am, can you tell us something about the regulation?
Okay, actually, the regulation of broadcasting happened because the colonial government of the USA began realizing its business potential. And they also created the regulatory body, which is the Radio Control Board. And that board examined the applications for licenses. And in 1947, Trinidad represented the Philippines to a conference of the International Telecommunications Union, or ITU, in Atlantic City in the USA. And now, the current regulatory body is the kapisanan ng mga broadcasters ng mga Pilipinas, or KBP.
Wow, that was a very short but a very informative one.
Yeah, and since we already have the regulation, of course, the station identification will be there next. And since as a colony of the USA, we are asked to use the letter KZ at the beginning, like KZ, and KZRC that I have mentioned earlier. And Trinidad suggested to change the first two call letters from KZ to RP, that stands as Republic of the Philippines. But the ITU rejected it, but they gave the Philippines the right to use the call letter D.
Wow, thank you so much ma'am for sharing such a valuable information to us.
You're welcome, Raquel, and thank you for inviting me here.
No ma'am, thank you for coming here.
Well, anyway, guys, this is that's all for today, and thank you for watching. And if you miss any segment on our show, you can still watch it on our YouTube channel, Rox TV. Again, this is Raquel Tuazon. Keep safe and God bless.